Welcome to Complicated Opportunities. All right, we are back with part 2 of GenCon. This time we are going to be talking about law and obligation, our con halls, and what we just did personally, also doing a little bit of Tales from the Table. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode. Welcome to Complicated Opportunities. Let's do like a little Tales from the Table about our games as much as we can. So the first one I had the two law and obligation sessions. One was not as great as the other one. I don't believe that was really much as it was. It. I tried to do the standing at the end of the table and running games. Definitely should not have done that with as many tables as we ran this year because it was just hard to hear. Like I just couldn't hear the players. So it was a little bit of the room was loud, the players weren't talking up. And we just had we had one family and then one person who joined the table. So that was also it took a lot for me to make sure that person didn't get left out. But the second session of Law and Obligation was interesting because I had actually had someone who had applied to work as a designer for Brotherwise, so that was interesting.
He did tell me about that. That was wild.
So
he handed you his resume.
He handed me his resume, which that was probably the funniest thing. I meant to mention this in the feedback survey. Like, I especially when I was at the booth, there were so many people walking up, being like, "Hey, I'd love to come on as an artist or this," and I'm like, "Buddy, I'm not the person to talk to." But so that was hilarious. But the party was fun. Like they had both groups enjoyed the game. They enjoyed Law and Obligation. It's just such a fun little adventure to run.
It is great.
And then my Hope and Ashes table was really cool. One, I did know some of the people from that one. Like two of the people I know from the Collectors Guild, like specifically had talked to me ahead of time. They were like, "Hey, we're going to try to get your table." So they actually showed up like 30 minutes early to make sure they were at my table.
Oh yeah, they were very nice.
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. And Hope and Ashes is just such a fun game to play. Like it's just a really good adventure, hits a lot of the high points. And then the last two sessions I ran of Echoes, one group was cool because there were like three groups of, there were two groups of two people and then, or no, sorry, a group of two and a group of three because they sold 5 tickets per table. And it was fun because the two people on the right-hand side of my table, one was the GM who's running Stonewalkers for her players right now. So she was also picking my brain afterwards because they're on like chapter 4. They're getting ready to go see the Night Watcher. Ooh. And so she was like, "Yeah, I'm a little worried because they're kind of blasting through stuff." And I was like, "Ooh, do I have advice for running the Yilt fight for you?" So her and I were like really going over that afterwards.
Workshopping. Yeah,
it was a lot of fun. But then the last table I had, I got nervous at first because I got in and like half an hour before we started, my table's already full. And I'm like, "What is happening?" And when I checked with Jorge, who was kind of like overseeing that session for Brotherwise, he was like, "No, they're a whole group of 5 that all bought tickets to play this." I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And when I sat down, I was like, "So like, what's your all's history?" And they're like, "Oh, we play a Pathfinder game and we have for 20 years together." And I'm like, "Oh God." Because Pathfinder is just so not the game for me. It's a very well designed game. Like this is in no way like me bashing Paizo at all. It's a good game. It's just not for me. But they were so much fun. And it was hilarious watching their GM put them through all the stuff that they do to him. Like,
yeah,
like they were he immediately was like, "All right, we're splitting the party. We're going to do this. We're going to do that." Like, it did take them a minute to get used to the rules just because they hadn't played it yet. And so I think the narrative change from the more crunchy change took them a second, but once they hit it, and they were the first group that really leaned into reading the backstory on the character sheets for the pre-gens. And so they totally dropped into role-playing those characters exactly how the sheet said. So that was a lot. I had so much fun with that group. And it was
did not have many people like they always read their character class,
right,
or like heroic path rather. but yeah, not many who read the sheets fully.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a lot of that. I had a lot of fun. This was it was cool. I think a lot of us were worried about how long some of the games would take, and it actually wasn't nearly as bad as I think we thought.
No, I had no problems with time. In fact, maybe I had the opposite problem with time of
Yeah.
like some of them I finished quite early. Like they rolled all right. They chose like they chose not to interact with certain things and they just kept moving.
Yeah, we there were a couple, so like for one of them they got to the end very quickly, and but so we just they that adventure didn't include an endeavor, like it didn't require one. Um so we just did one so they could see it. So that was a lot of fun. Um and they had a lot of like they just had a lot of fun seeing all of the different ways that the game would work. Um, I did a lot of them. We would end like probably, I like we were given 4 hour blocks. I would say most of them, we still got like 3.5 in for most of them.
Mm-hmm.
But then they would stick around and ask, um, like ask questions, which me, like I was having a ball. Like I was just
Oh
getting to
yeah,
teach
I
people the stuff.
absolutely was just like, hey, if you want to stick around and ask questions, we'll chat. I can tell you certain things about the game system. Obviously, I'm not gonna like break any NDAs or something, but we can discuss what's up.
Yep. Yeah, and I just kept it to the adventures, but it was still like so much fun to just to get to hang out and like really break down the game with people. Um
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that was really cool. Like it's just so much fun to talk about it. And then at the booth, we had these little one shots that were like designed to be like 1 to 3 minutes long. Where we would just basically let people roll some dice. They were a ton of fun. They're going to be releasing those soon. One of them was Lift running an endeavor trying to get away from darkness. And then the other one was Vin and Kelsey are sparring for the first time on the rooftops. Um, which like they don't give like actual full blown character sheets for Kelsey in that. They do for Vin, which is kind of cool. She's like level 2 at that point. But for like it's very much designed for Kelsey to just like kick Vin's butt. um, like you actually don't even really roll at first. You actually roll a d20 to figure out what you're going to do, and
Ah,
it gives you the options, and then you just do a contested roll basically against Vin's stats. I did have someone actually take Kelsey down, which was really
you
cool.
mentioned that when we were on the way to
I
food.
rolled like complete garbage. Literally rolled like a 2, a 4, a 3, and a 7. And she rolled a 17, a 19, a nat 20, and an 18.
Heck yeah.
So she was able to actually, because the goal is just to reduce Kelsey to like a certain health total.
Yeah.
And she did. It was really fun. So that
They
that
should
was,
have let her walk away with the books. They should have been
I
like,
know,
all right,
right?
you did this
Like
crazy thing. Here's the handbook.
it was nuts. Yeah. So yeah, we had a ton of fun with that. Um, Yeah, those adventures were just really cool. Like I really liked that idea, and I hope they keep doing them for like future conventions. Which I'm sure they will, because like they gave away so many of those one pagers, and then the people that were getting them were just loving it. So yeah, really cool.
Yeah, well, that's cool. I never really like got to interact with the one pagers. I wasn't signed up for any of that. So I did not. But it's cool that they were fun, you know.
Mhm.
I think that those sort of things that you can do in line are maybe the best like selling points you can find.
For sure,
Yeah.
because you at least get to see a little bit of like, because like obviously every time people would come up and do that, we would do a little bit of like um like we would walk through answering questions about the RPG, which was what most of that was. But then it was like, hey, but if you want to see it in action, like we could do this. Um, and honestly, most people didn't really take me up on it. Like a lot of them, it was just, no, like I'll take the one pager, but like, honestly, you answered all the questions I wanted. But the people that did like had a lot of fun doing it.
Mhm.
So yeah, I would say we probably did like 6 or 7 of those in a 4-hour block. Um, People were absolutely interested in taking the one pagers with them. But yeah,
Yeah.
we had a ton of fun.
Well, that's really good. I did Law and Obligation and Echoes of the Lost, and like you didn't really talk about Hope and Ashes. Not going to talk about Echoes of the Lost, despite having a ton of fun with it. There were some very cool moments, and just getting to see people have fun experimenting with Mistborn or like misting abilities, rather.
Mhm.
Uh, it like everyone had an idea of how they worked, and you know what? They basically worked like they thought they would. Uh, so they had a lot of fun. The classes and the pre-gens were pretty well made. There was like a hiccup between two versions of the adventure that maybe we'll talk about someday, maybe we won't. Um, but Law and Obligation, which we can talk about now, is a good, it's an endeavor, a conversation, and then a combat. And I think we'll just break into it now. So spoilers if you don't want to hear about Law and Obligation. Um, we'll do you put chapters in these, Kyle? Do we do that?
I can. So I'll make a
Well,
note
we'll
here.
put one here of like, hey, you don't want to hear about Law and Obligation, skip a little bit. Um, the party, level 3 adventures, it works just as well if you throw it into your level 3 game at home with custom characters, or if you use the pre-gens. Are in the city of Carbranth looking for a missing Alethi noble, or maybe minor light eyes. His family's they're nobles, right, Kyle?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, and he's run away from home because some weird things were going on and he wasn't feeling accepted to go become a sailor. This is not an allegory for anything at all.
Yeah.
um and yeah, you're just supposed to deliver a message, maybe convince him to come home, that it's all right, and see, make sure he's okay. And while you're doing this, you find out that he's also someone else is looking for the same person you are, this Marabethian investigator. Which, if you know your Stormlight, well, it's pretty clear what a random investigator outside of their normal jurisdiction is doing. Um, so when you eventually find the kid and talk to him, find out he's been doing a little bit of criminal enterprising on the side, bam, Skybreaker. And there's a cool combat on a boat with a Skybreaker. Lots of gravitation going around. I think I had one table where everyone, including the adversaries, ended up in the water at some point.
Nice.
Uh, just because she has this great ability on her stat block of like, just touch them. If you succeed, move them 25 feet. And people are not standing in the dead center of. If they are standing in the dead center of the boat, there's 25 feet some way that they could be off in the water. And so yeah, going into the water is there's no real mechanics for it, but it's always very fun when someone's like, "Wait, I'm what?" And for the people that had gravitation, I did let them like avoid danger to basically activate their gravitation and
Yeah.
float above the surface of the water.
Yeah, we had
Uh,
something similar. We
yeah.
had we had one where they were like basically having like a gravitation off in the air.
Oh yeah. Uh, and it's just a fun little like combat to do. There's some ship captains that can get involved, guards, and people just had fun with it. There were hijinks occasionally. There were people that were like very focused on the mission and got really into the role play, and I enjoyed that a lot. Um, it was just a fun time. I know, when we've talked about Gen Con last year, you had a lot of people that weren't familiar with Stormlight, weren't familiar with RPGs, wanted to try it. And
Yeah.
at Nexus, it was kind of a mix. There were some people that were familiar with RPGs. Obviously, not many people were familiar with this RPG yet. Because it wasn't even out, or maybe it was only barely out. But everyone was a Sanderson fan, so everyone had an idea of how things should work.
Yeah.
This time, basically everyone had some knowledge of this RPG. Uh, I don't think I had a single person that wasn't a Sanderson fan, and almost all of them had played RPGs before, if not specifically CosmereRPG. So the tables were fantastic. I had a great time. Obviously, there were always little moments where someone wanted to like be a little bit of a rules lawyer, but you know that happens just when you get like you have to make calls on edge cases, especially with a narrative first game or something. It's like, oh, I would have done this differently, and you know, it's okay. It happens, and people were generally chill about it. Uh, it was really fun. Like I think I couldn't say I had a bad table, which was awesome.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't think I had a bad table at all. I just had one where like we just couldn't hear each other, but that was we got it figured out. Um,
Hearing could be an issue. It could get loud in there at times for sure. I wonder, and because these aren't like static rooms for this, they're those like changeable walls.
mhm.
I wonder if like bringing soundproofing would help.
I don't think so, just because it's like you've got 12 tables all in it, like back to back to back, like where you're almost
Yeah.
going to bump into each other. Like I don't know that the soundproofing would do much there, because it wasn't so much the sound from other rooms. It's just you've got because I think we had like 10 or 12 tables of five. I mean, we have 60 people playing an RPG all at once. It's going to get loud in a small room, especially. Um, the once I sat down at the table, totally fine. Like it was totally easy to hear. Um, but yeah, I would say the mix this year was because yeah, at Nexus it's much less being familiar with RPGs and much more familiar with Sanderson. But this year at Gen Con, most of the people I would say was like if I had 5 people at my table, 3 had played the game, 1 to 2 hadn't, and I did have like 1 to 2 at each table that had not read the books. They were usually people that were like coming with someone else. Um, like that Pathfinder group, I'd say 3 had read. I think 3 had read the books, 1 hadn't, and 1 had read like one of them. Um, one of them was literally like in the middle of Rhythm of War, so like they would say stuff and people would be like like wanting to jump in, and then they would just shut up real fast.
Oh, that's
That was
great.
kind of funny. Um, so yeah, but yeah, it was yeah. I mean, I had a blast. As I said, I would absolutely do this again every time. Um, all of them were fun, and man, people just really do love the system. Like the more they get into it, the more people really like it.
Yeah. Yeah. People have a blast with it for sure. Um, yeah, it just feels awesome to be a part of like a great time like that and just have fun with people playing the game. Um, yeah, yeah. I, it, yeah, we didn't get too much into Law and Obligation, I guess, because there's not.
There's
It's
not,
short, you know.
yeah, it's designed to be an hour and a half to 2 hour adventure. Like it's literally an endeavor, a
Yeah.
conversation, and a combat. Um, it's always really fun to see when people figure out that the investigator is a skybreaker.
I
Because
had
some
one
people get it
person
right
not
away.
get it until the end, and then
Yeah,
everyone else at the table, like he was surprised when he got lashed off the boat. I was just like, "Oh, you did." Everyone else was like, "Yeah, it's a skybreaker." I think
yeah.
that guy was tired, which is
My
fair. It was the 8 to 10 game.
yeah.
So it was a long day.
My first group got it right away, but my second group didn't figure it out till we were on the boat, and then she started flying, and they were like, "Oh no!"
Hmm.
um,
Yep. Yep.
so that was pretty cool. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. It was just a good time. The that adversary stat block is super fun. Um, the last shot is crazy.
yeah,
It it does so much damage,
yeah. I also like that Brotherwise isn't afraid to give adversaries like talents that aren't necessarily in the trees. Um,
but are
like,
just like versions of it. Yeah.
mhm. I don't know. I really like the way they write enemy stat blocks that give you an idea of like how to run it. That's just super helpful. And a shout out to whoever at Brotherwise put the convention notes in Echoes. They were incredible.
Mm.
I have heard rumors that it might have been Johnny. If it was, go Johnny. That was awesome. Because it really lined out like where you should be, how long you should be spending in the different scenes. Like just from a GM running at a convention where time is always going to be something you're keeping an eye on. Fantastic. So yeah, that's really about all I've got from
Nice.
Gen Con off the
Nice.
top of my
Yeah.
head.
I it was fun walking around. You know, we could do a review of the food we had.
For sure. Food was great.
Um Food was fantastic. Obviously, I took you to Shapiro's, which is a Jewish deli, cafeteria style.
Yep, that
Uh,
food was a fantastic. And
yeah, that
then
was a good sandwich. It was kind of life saving. I think everyone was hangry on the way there,
for sure, yeah,
and
yeah.
then yeah, getting into it was great. Um, yeah. God, what did we have for dinner that night?
I just had Steak and Shake because we were both on different like shifts at that point. I had Steak and Shake multiple times just because there's one right down the street from
Yeah,
the convention center. Um, but then we had ramen another night, which was also
yeah.
excellent.
Well, I kind of want to go through it in order because I was doing this with my dad and I was trying to remember.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I
'Cause-
think you were trying to find more stuff than I was. Like, I'm very
Yeah,
much at a convention. I'm very much like, all right, where can I eat fast? What's around me? I'm gonna go eat it and then get back. Um,
I don't know if we had more food on what Thursday. Yeah, it was Thursday.
yeah,
I
because we
think
did Shapiro's for lunch on Thursday.
yeah, I know we did Shapiro's for lunch. Did we pick up because we went to the Meyer for Nikki to get like shoes?
Oh,
Oh,
we had
we went to
Culver's.
Culver's. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. We went
There's
to
your first
Culver's.
experience with Culver's.
Yeah, I tell you what, the cheese curd slap.
Yeah,
They're the real deal.
yep,
Um, and the burger was good too.
yeah.
Uh,
Uh,
so yeah, no complaints about Culver's
yeah.
whatsoever.
Which that's just like normal fat. And I think Friday we went to ramen. Poor restaurant had their computers go down, so the service was kind of terrible, but the food was delicious.
Yeah, yeah, they were
Um,
apologizing a lot, but it was like, I mean, there's just nothing they could do there.
yeah, no.
Um,
They also had my favorite beer in the largest beer bottle I've ever seen. So
was a
I was
massive
I
beer
was
bottle.
jazzed. It's Asahi Extra Dry. It's brewed in Italy in a Japanese style. It's very good if you drink responsibly. Um, and then I think like yeah, I had a steak and shake burger that a Brotherwise team member picked up for me while GMing Friday. That was greatly appreciated. Um, oh, and I think earlier in the day on Friday, I got a burrito from the food trucks. Because there's this whole road between the convention center and Lucas Oil where they just fill it up with food trucks. There's a parking lot filled with food trucks, tons of options. Uh, and I just saw someone's burrito and I was like, oh, that's what I want.
Yeah,
And it was fantastic. Um, oh, and then Saturday was rough. Um, because I worked all of it, so there wasn't really time to get food. Nikki brought me some noodles and this delicious yerba mate uh, tea that was a hibiscus one. And those noodles, like everyone at the convention was walking around with these noodles, and they smelled great, and they were great.
line for that was always
Always
massively
crazy.
long.
Yeah.
Yeah, always.
I one day we were walking in and I saw the guy cutting up zucchini to put in the noodles, and he was like holding the zucchini like you'd hold like any tube object, and then pressing the knife in towards his hand in like a cross pattern, uh, and then going cutting perpendicular, so parallel with his hand to like cut sections of it into the giant wok that he was cooking in, and I was like, that's brilliant and terrifying because that man is way too confident with that knife, way too close to his skin. Um, but yeah,
Yeah,
so those noodles were fire. And then we were so hungry at the end of the day, we did just get like the last slices of pizza from Hotbox Pizza right there on the corner before we went home.
nice.
Uh, and that was Saturday. And then Sunday, yeah, we had the hotel breakfast, which was very good, honestly. Um,
Yeah, the hotel was good. Like, I'm
yeah,
home to suites. I might be looking at more often just because the room's so big.
yeah,
Like
it was a
having that much
massive
room.
room.
Yeah, that was super helpful. And free breakfast is always a win. Although I don't think I actually ate the free breakfast any of the days I was there.
Yeah,
Um,
because you had a really early day Saturday, and like I worked the whole convention, but you had to go early. I think either because of booth shift or getting signings.
yeah, it was getting signings because there's a parking lot that's behind the building that you have to get there super early. And I just had so many because like I worked so many shifts like to get all my books and stuff signed. Pretty much, I just had Saturday morning. Like
Yeah.
so, honestly, I think my body got abused more for that than I did than I did actually running anything. Because
Yeah.
I literally had one duffel bag. I had a backpack on and a duffel bag, all full of heavy ass RPG books.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
every walk was 10 to 20 minutes and a half mile to a mile.
yeah, I don't know what it is with Indianapolis in 20 minutes, but every drive was 20 minutes, every walk was 20 minutes. It was wild. Like every time
Yeah.
I would look up something, it was like it would be taking you 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Um, as
Crazy.
as far as getting to enjoy the convention, like I was able to get a signing with R.A. Salvatore, which made my day. Just
Yeah,
because
you
if
said you
you've
had a good time with that.
yeah, if if anybody's ever talked to me about like my history with reading and stuff, like I was an English major in college and hated reading after it. The only thing that kept me going was the New Jedi Order Star Wars books and the Dritz to Erden books. And Salvatore wrote the first New Jedi Order book and obviously wrote all the Dritz books. So that was awesome to get to sit down and meet him. Um, he was the most Boston, like he was the most New England person I've ever met. It was hilarious. Like, because I've listened to interviews, I'm like, there's no way his accent's that thick, bro. That accent is so thick, it's hilarious. But he was super sweet, really nice guy. Showed up early, which never happens at something like that. He showed up 15 minutes early for his signing. Um, as far as like celebrity stuff, like I got to meet Diana of the Rose, which was cool because like she was
Yeah.
obviously on the show, but getting to meet her in person was really awesome. uh just randomly ran into Jeremy Crawford on the con floor. It was funny.
Nice.
He was
That's
carrying
cool.
his little Hope and Fear like book while he was talking to someone about just designing things for Daggerheart, which was really cool because he was walking in front of me so I could hear a lot of the conversation. It was just really cool hearing him talk about like adapting to a new system and writing and like the changes he wanted to make and the autonomy that the Critical Role team is giving him. So that was just really cool to hear. He was really nice too. I got to say hi. I did not want to like take his time because he was absolutely talking to somebody in particular. Um,
Yeah.
and then got a bunch of artist signatures, but definitely had the weirdest. Like sometimes we think that we're just kind of talking into the ether on these.
Yeah, you got recognized.
That was the weirdest
Which is
experience.
wild.
Yeah, so I was getting my world guide signed because if anyone ever sees me talk about the world guide, there's a art piece that Scott Murphy did in there, Tom, that is my favorite Cosmere art piece ever. I bought like one of the big prints of it, and I had my book open to that page, and there was someone else standing beside me. He did as well, and I was like, "Oh, do you? That's like my favorite art piece. Like, is that one of yours?" And he goes, "Wait a minute, are you Kyle?" And I was like, "How do you know that?" And he was like, "Dude, I listened to the show. I recognized your
Did you get
voice."
his
And
name?
I did not because I was too like
Kyle,
blown
what are you
away.
doing?
I was genuinely shocked. So no, I did not get his name. But shout out to the dude that recognized me at the Scott Murphy booth. I would say you'll know who you are because that just completely floored me.
Yeah,
And I did
that's
have at
awesome.
least 3 or 4 people over the course of the weekend at our tables that said they listened to the show as well. So that
Yeah,
was
yeah,
really
I had a
cool.
handful of that. So also new visitors, thank you, welcome. Should have done that at the top of the episode, probably. But either way, I had a lot of fun with it. What was your favorite thing you got at the convention?
Ooh, as far as what I bought,
Yeah.
probably my Dispel dice.
Yeah.
Or there's two things. I bought a set of Dispel dice. So shout out to Nikki for
Yeah, Nikki got you
telling
good with
me.
those, huh?
Yeah, she did. Those are sick, and I'm now following them because they have a uh, legally distinct, not Underdark set that they're coming out with. That was it debuted at the convention. They had like 7 sets that debuted at the convention that were liquid core or just regular dice. But by Sunday, they were sold out of most of those because that was when I found their booth. So I'm going to get those as soon as they pop up. But the other thing is the Ultra Pro booth was there and they had their Dritz DM screen, which has been sold out online
Oh, yeah, you bought that. That thing
forever.
looks awesome, man.
Yeah, I am pumped about it. I haven't got to like take it out and really look at it because the cool thing too is like I could probably use it as a Cosmere one because I don't think it's got a lot of like D&D specific stuff on it. Worst case stuff tapes to the screen. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so definitely that is the coolest stuff that I purchased for sure.
Nice. Nice. I For me, it's probably con exclusive stuff.
Mhm.
So we got there was a special playmat from Ultra Pro that is Mollymock from Critical Role that had like some gilding on it.
It is
Nikki really
gorgeous.
wanted that, and so we basically rushed to get it.
Hmm.
And when we were like 4 people from the front of the line, they came out and were like, "Hey, there's only 15 left." So we were able to get ours, but that was like, oh man, we made it in the nick of time. And actually, 3 people behind us was Diana up the road, so I did get to meet her and like say, "Hey, thanks for coming on the podcast." Um, while we were waiting in line, which was cool. And then there was a con exclusive concept art Boba Fett mini from
Hmm.
AMG for Star Wars Legion, and I picked those up. I picked that up. I got 2 of them actually. One Nikki got, one I got. So that was fun and exciting. But I also bought some like dice, some dice bags, sort of things. Little things.
Yep.
Also pins. Got pins for stuff, but
Yeah, I got pins for everything.
oh, and I got a really good like art piece, and I need to follow these people and like track down their Instagram. But and I can say this because my buddy doesn't listen to my podcast, but I'm going to give it to him and his wife as a wedding gift. Um,
Nice.
so I'm really excited. I found that for them. Just it's one of their favorite games, and the guy does like these. He basically layers slices, and then like they're in set in like a glass block. So it's for the game Terraria, and it's like the opening screen. And I think they'll really like that because that's a game that they love.
Nice. Oh, there was one other interaction that I had that was really cool. So like I'm a big Army Painter fan. Like you got me turned on to the speed paint sets.
Mhm.
Um,
Oh, you talked to the guy who does the
yeah.
John Blanche stuff. That was super cool.
Yeah, so absolutely love the John Blanche sets. Like they are my favorite paints that you can buy from Army Painter. Probably even above the speed paints, even though I like how quickly speed paints let me paint. The John Blanche sets are just fantastic. And
Mhm.
I was talking to this dude and like in his awesome thick British accent, and I was like, man, I just love these John Blanche sets. And he was like, oh, that's really cool. I'm actually the guy that got to go to John's house and let him pick out the stuff and go through the palettes and figure out what colors he wanted to do. And he was like, it was really cool. He told me like 2 or 3 stories because John did recently pass away. Um, he was like, originally we just were doing the 2 sets because they've done 4. And he was like, we were just doing the 2 sets. Um, and, we did those. Everything was fine. And then John reached back out to me and was like, Ian, I'd really like to do some more sets. And I was like, okay. And so like Ian went back out there and he was like, well, what do you want to do? And he got there and John already had both palettes figured out. Like he was like, we just had to refine some stuff, but he wanted to do a warm and a cool palette. But he said the funniest thing, just the funnier story was John was like, well, I want my own black and white. And Ian was like, John, black and white are black and white. Like they're already there.
Mhm.
Everybody has those. And just because like John was like, yeah, but I kind of want my own. And he's like, John, if we change anything to black, it becomes gray. Like it's no longer black. There's only one way to really do black. And so John was like, yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right. So then when they went to Adepticon, just to mess with John Blanche, they took all of the matte black and matte white that they brought with them and had someone reprint labels that said John Black and John White, and they sold all of the ones at Adepticon as John Black and John White. And they
Nice.
brought that back to him, and John Blanche thought that was absolutely hilarious.
That's
Um,
awesome. That's a good story.
and then they had a cool little like John Blanche pin at their booth that I went ahead and bought. Um, so yeah, that was probably the other like really kind of just cool interaction talking to people. It's so much fun to talk to the vendors because like they're all hobby fans too. Like
Mhm.
they're just there to have a blast. Um, Although the Warhammer guys, man, they always look like they are just being worked to death because that booth is so busy all the time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't think they would have had any Middle Earth strategy battle game stuff there. Uh,
I
but
didn't
I
see
did
any.
walk by it and I was just
Yeah.
like, that's crazy.
That giant Stormcast Eternal they had out there was so cool because that thing was taller than me and like I'm 6'2". Like that thing was
Those were
massive.
some big statues. They were neat for
Yeah.
sure.
They'd already taken down the Space Marine this time. I just
Mhm.
saw by the time I finally made it back there, they just had the Stormcast Eternal. But honestly, those are my favorite. That's my favorite army to paint anyway. So that was really sweet.
Well, yeah, but I think that that might be it for us for this episode. I know pretty soon here we're gonna do a deep dive just on the Plotweaver open alpha stuff for Erstwild. So
Hmm.
stay tuned for that as we dive through it and can actually talk about mechanics and stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, so
And
that'll be super exciting.
we are a month away from Mistborn releasing. So odds are we will be able to talk about that immediately as soon as it launches.
Yeah, that'll.
Um,
Oh man, we're gonna be so busy. That'll be crazy.
yep. So yeah, Mistborn is going to get, September is going to get really, really crazy for us. But yeah. But yeah, that's all I got.
Well, awesome. I think in that case, people, please check out the Patreon. We'll be very busy, so there'll be lots of early content from Complicated Opportunities on the Shard of Opportunity Patreon. Uh, I also am running some open alpha Erstwild games that patrons will have sort of preference to slash the cost is prorated by your patron or Patreon tier. Uh, so join us on the Discord and on Patreon if that's something that interests you. And other than that, Kyle, why don't you take us away?
Yeah, so as Irving said, please check us out on patreon.com/shard of opportunity. We the Shard of Opportunity is going to be kind of in between campaigns for a minute, but we'll be coming back strong with Mistborn later in the year. And we will be covering all things Mistborn. We talked to a lot of the Brotherwise team there at GenCon. So I'm going to be sending those emails to Jillian soon to try to get all of them on the show to talk about it. So stay tuned. We might have some return guests again.
Yeah.
Little teaser for you guys. But until next time, let's roll the plot die and raise the stakes. This has been Complicated Opportunities.
Woo!